Happy Halloween to all my American Horror Story historians. My name is EJ and welcome to my first part of my massive coverage for American Horror Stories in this 5-part Halloween event. In this episode, we are going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 5. We're talking about Backrooms. We have waited quite some time to finally get this Halloween event with the rest of these American Horror Stories from Season 3, and now that they're finally here, I have finished, at least at the time of recording, 3 episodes. I still have Leprechaun, and I think Don't Look Under the Bed, or whatever that other last one is. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to dive into these. Sadly, this first one is not my favorite of all of these Halloween American Horror Stories that I've ever seen. Backrooms has a lot of potential. The idea is scary enough, though I do have to ask, do like liminal spaces, do backroom kind of things creep you guys out? Because if it doesn't, this definitely does not work at all. I do find backrooms, I do find this idea somewhat creepy. You know, those like areas that just feel like something is off. I think that is definitely chilling. I think this had a solid base. There is a idea here that I like. The execution, from the acting to the plot to the twists and the turns that they attempt here, it is definitely a bit of a tedious episode. Do I like seeing like Christopher from Sopranos? Absolutely. I think the actor does what he can with the material given, but it's so boring. It's so typical. For this to be kind of like the kickoff of this, I know this isn't like the season premiere. This was all supposed to be kind of in one big chunk of a season 3, but I just felt this was kind of lackluster. Where I do like the other 2 episodes I've seen, Clone and X, I have a lot more to say about those, but Backrooms, for as much as we were hyping this up, I think the American Horror Stories fandom was really excited for Backrooms, because again, this is such a big internet thing. Sadly, this just feels like I'm playing a Roblox game by the end of it. I'm just like, oh, that's what we're doing with this. That's where we're wanting to take it. So again, if you are new to my channel, I do want to kind of give you a layout of how this works. This is my review section. I'm giving you my overall thoughts, my feelings, and in the next section, I'm going to kind of recap the episode, the little short that we got, and kind of give you my overall vibes of it as we kind of go through the story. There's a lot more details here. Trust me, I wish I could talk a lot about Backrooms, but I'm more excited to get to Clone and X, so let's just get through this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing. Make sure you guys tune into all of my Halloween American Horror Stories coverage, and let's get into the nitty-gritty details of Backrooms. Michael Imperioli, if you know him, he was on the show The Sopranos. He plays Danny, a writer who is struggling to figure out what to do with his life. He has a child who is missing. He is so broken up about that. That is weighing on him heavily. He hasn't really left. He feels the outside world has nothing for him, and he keeps kind of slipping into these weird liminal spaces. If you know the back rooms, it's always like a weird grocery store, an office building that's empty. It's just that creepy, otherworldly feeling. I've been into like empty malls before, and I definitely understand the creep factor here, but he is in these weird spaces and he's getting these visions. He's getting these kind of challenges. He's going through this maze like stuff, and for the first one, it really is effective. I really did feel when we got into that grocery store and everything is like terrifyingly like off-brand. As someone who likes my brand name food, I see something that is not my great value, Publix brand, whatever the Target brand is. Nope, not for me. I don't need it. But yeah, I do find it creepy, and I do find the aesthetic of this episode very chilling. But as we progress, we're finding out Danny has a lot more under the surface. There's a lot more going on with his character, especially when he meets up with what I believe is his ex-wife, and she's just like, baby, the baby's dead. What are we doing here? Why are you still harping on this? And he's just like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to figure this out. He is kind of becoming obsessed with these alternate realities, being able to slip in and out of these different feelings. And you're like, oh, is he going to kind of unlock the backroomsness? And he does by doing some research, but this research leads him to unlock a lot of things about himself and the truth of the story. This whole episode is building up to the massive twist at the end, which I call the twist at the very beginning. But yeah, we're seeing Danny kind of slip into these back rooms. He's crawling into like little TVs that lead him to other rooms. I do find this, again, aesthetically creepy. I don't want to be in there. I don't like the dreamlike feeling. I just talked about it in my Grotesquerie reviews, if you guys are watching that. Episode 5 was a very surreal, dreamlike feeling. That's what this feels like here. You know, he's reliving his past, but he grounds himself. He goes to the real world, and he decides to do some research. He meets up with this one man who knows about Backrooms. He was making videos. He visits him in prison, and the guy is just like, hey, this is what happened. I was slipping into these rooms because I was not being truthful. I was not being honest with what was actually happening here. You might need to do that. And Danny's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, baby, we know what you're talking about. We know what's going on. And the big surprise reveal twist of this episode is Danny had actually was just tired of the kid. You know, it was starting conflicts in his relationship. He was always too deep into work. He was drinking too much. So he decides to off the little one. Yeah, first off, you're doing it in a public space. I'm not pro hurting anybody, but I'm also pro not being a dumbass, and this man is a dumbass, and he deserves what he gets. But yeah, we find out he doesn't, and that's kind of why he's slipping in between. It seems like, you know, the otherworldliness is like, you need to wake up to what you did, and he is down to the very last moment not accepting it, but he gets into a big shootout with the police because they find out he did it. We rushed this ending so much, and I'm like, now we're at this massive shootout and bang bang, and he's dead, and we find out all the truth, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. This one again is frustrating because I love the liminal space stuff. I love the backroom stuff. That works. The story about Danny, his son, and him slipping into this, that doesn't work. So these two stories definitely clash, and it makes this one just an overall meh experience. It's not the worst American Horror Stories I've ever seen. Trust me, we have gone through the gutter with this series. This one wasn't so bad, but it just left me a little bit wanting more. If you thought this episode was a little too short, yeah, I thought so too, and this review is not going to be much longer either. I liked the idea of this. The execution left a lot to be desired, but again, there is other episodes I have seen from this Huluween event that makes sure you guys are subscribed, make sure you guys tune in to see the other videos. I'll be linking them around. If you're on my channel, you'll be able to see it, but definitely know I am excited for what is to come. This episode, maybe it's not my favorite. Backrooms, the potential is there, but again, it just feels like a game you could have played on like Roblox or online on like a Steam, and it could have been easy one in and out, but you made me sit through an episode of something at midnight. I started this one at midnight. Maybe that was my fault as well. But what did you guys think of Backrooms? What did you guys think of the rest of these Huluween episodes? I cannot wait to dive into all of them with you guys. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys thumbs up this video so you can see me more often. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think of this, and let's talk about American Horror Stories and the Backrooms. Do liminal spaces scare you? Let me talk about all that right down below.